the first relatives of 2024, we discuss how being 50 is going so far for Nye. You know what I'm saying? She's a couple of months in, how that's going. Also, we discuss the time that I mistakenly used her Mac Studio Fix Compact in the dark as we were on our way to a club when we were 15 years old and what happened there. We also discuss about a re-release earlier in the year of a podcast that I was a guest on. It was called You Should Have Listened to Your Mother. It was recorded 2 years ago, and it was to honor my mom and tell the story. And I'm talking about, I'm hoping that I've broken cycles, all those things, and that Nyysha heard it and realized even more things about me that she didn't know. We've been friends since, we've been 14. We've been relatives since we were 14 and all of that stuff. It's funny, but it's not funny how I was 7 years old and I had a murder plot, all those things. And then also fast forward to a couple of days ago, there was evidence of me having broken cycles by what I was watching the Supernatural Bear do. And then how the whole point of making this, these special relatives episodes was because I've always thought of it as a TV show, a series, right? A series. So during the pandemic, I was like, let's add this to Word to Your Mama as a creative outlet, but also as a way to archive these movie type moments that everyone's like, man, your guys' story is like a movie. And so document all that. And then we talk about some of our favorite stories. So enjoy. Let's do this. We're here, 2024. Word to Your Mama. We took a break, a well-deserved month-long break.
Yeah.
Right?
The new year, it's already been busy.
It's been hella busy. So I took a break. The first episode that dropped this month, February, is a quick solo episode, all video, first time doing all that and posting it. And then the rest of the year, kids, from now on, video. It's video. It's like audio. You could listen to it, right? But it's going to be on the YouTubes. So make sure to follow us, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Because I had video the entire time, but I just didn't post it.
Oh, I was getting dressed in nothing. No, not always.
Like I had the little snippets, but like the full episode, I wasn't posting.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't. I was doing so many things. So, anyways, now it's a priority from now on. Blah blah blah.
Cool.
So okay, it's February when this drops. It's not February when we're recording this, but when it drops, we're definitely for sure a day before a month of you being 50 years old.
50 is already causing problems. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not even letting it. It's all about your mental state.
Right.
I still don't feel 50, but I got slapped in the face with reality when I went to the doctor. And, everything's like virtual. Oh, you got to do this. And they always want, even if you've been, you still got to fill out something. But this day, I took a long time. So I was like, I'll fill it out when I get there. Filling out, the regular paperwork. And it's like, oh, date of birth. I'm like, okay. Then it says age. And then I put 50. And I was like,
oh,
I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, I feel good. But it just like, that was the reality slap in the face that 50. Just writing it and seeing it. Like, I'm used to writing like 30 something, 40, 50.
Right.
Ooh, but here we are. And I've been like diagnosed with a few little things. Arthritis.
Ooh, arthritis
in my hands here, so they say. I'm still going with one comment that one of my friends said, just like, it's a mental state. But even though I know I have it, it's just like you have to don't be like, oh, I have it and my hands hurt. Like, yeah, I have it. It hurts here and there. But guess what? I'm gonna do everything I can do to reduce the inflammation. And hey, I'm not ignoring it. The drinking has to stop. Not really stop, but very minimal. Like, we not 20 no more. We not 30. So y'all youngsters better beware. Drinking comes at a cost.
Yeah,
Definitely.
but also really in what I plan to have at least 1 or 2, if not more, at minimum, like maximum 4 episodes where I talk about how the hormones affect all this. A lot of people, it's not arthritis, it's perimenopause, it's menopause because you don't have the estrogen. Estrogen lubricates the joints. Like I've been going down
Right.
a deep rabbit hole, right?
We need that.
That's why we die of the biggest population is women that die of heart disease.
Heart.
Why?
Yes.
Because of low estrogen. So
Wow.
like if we were dudes and this was a dude thing, there'll be all types of shit.
For
But
sure.
that's changing, and we've been working on trying to get some experts and trying to partner with some providers and specialists. I'm already in the works. I just had a
I love
meeting
it.
yesterday.
Nice.
So, we need that type of information because, maybe
No
it's
one's
you
been
just
talking
getting on
about
some supplements and
right.
poof, no arthritis. It was just this, right? So
I'm
that's
so
the
here
kind of
for it.
information we need. We need all that stuff.
Right,
Right?
right.
Because
Yeah.
I've been doing these surveys. Please, if you haven't, fill out the survey. If you, one lucky listener will win a prize pack. But, just help us out. Like, let us know. I'm always trying to evolve, make sure Word to Your Mama is, I do what I do and we do what we do, but I want to make sure that we're not missing anything, right? So there's
Right.
a set of questions and one thing I want to do is, provide value always. This is why I did this, to have amplify diverse voices, but to provide value. And we have a wide range of listeners, like
Yeah.
age wise.
Age
So if you
wise,
listen to
all
this,
everything wise.
ethnicity,
Yeah.
socioeconomic backgrounds, blah 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 blah, right? And I can introduce. People are saying that they love. So far, people are saying that they love being introduced to new people, new industries, new ideas and concepts. But this is what people need to know. If you're a dude, you need to know this for your mama, for your
For your
girl,
girl,
if you your
dog,
friend,
for sure.
all that stuff. We all need to be like, it's a village. It takes a village. It's like we need to know all this stuff. I need to know what's happening in men's health. Because I got a husband. I got a little man, the
Yeah.
supernatural bear. He says, "What's up?" By the way, he always reminds me that I'm turning 50 this year. Always, every
You're ready.
opportunity. He's like, he
The
goes, "Ugh." He
over
makes
there.
a face. He goes, "Ugh, you're turning 50."
And then you have to respond with, and I still look good. Like,
Right. But do I
because look
look
at,
good? No. Right.
yeah, look at your friend's mom. Like that part, some of us out here are not so blessed. We're blessed. So don't play with me, little kid.
No, but
Watch
when I ask him seriously, I go, no, but for reals, because you know how kids like think you're way older. I go, no, but for reals, mijo. I was like, if you didn't know me, how old would you think I was? And he said that I didn't look anywhere near. I was like, okay,
at all. Like we're not trying to
thank you.
be young, but we're definitely trying to
No.
maintain.
No, we're just
You
trying
know,
to look healthy,
I
like
know you
healthy and
want you.
happy.
Yes, I want healthy. I want looking good. I want possibilities. I want, you know, I want to not wear makeup. Too late. A
Too
little,
late
like
for me.
I have
I
a
gotta do my
little.
eyebrows.
I have a little, but seriously, like look at these. I'm not even gonna say girls because boys are doing it too, and
Right. A
or
grip.
them, they, she, he, whoever, whatever you identify as, they're doing it, and they're using so much makeup, which I get. It's beautiful, the talent, it's all there, but
But like
some of these
for
people
me,
are
it's
for
special
everyday.
occasions. Like special
Yeah,
occasions.
not
But
every
this is
day,
like
boo.
every day. Nah, every day with like, we didn't have all that shit.
We didn't have
For
this stuff. We had our comp. Wait, our cover girl
Mac.
translucent comp. No, before
Right.
Mac. This
Right,
before
right, 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 right.
CoverGirl translucent makeup, meaning it can go for whomever. It's just going to take away the color. It might leave you a
The
little
shine.
powdery if you don't know which one to get. But
Right.
yeah, for sure. Then there was Mac. I guess we did Mac after that, but
We did
that
Mac. We did Mac hardcore. And then that
oh,
we found out later that shit was so bad for you. But it
yeah,
did such a good job. Such a
yeah.
good job.
I'm
Studio
on to
fix.
another one. But yeah,
But Nye,
wait,
we talked
wait. That reminded me of the time the compact. Hold on, y'all. The compact. We had compacts, of course. Everybody had their own. Sometimes, girls, we share purses. We're only like 17, 16, 17, going to a club, and it was like but it was a teenager club,
Right,
but
right,
it was
right.
far out. Was it Distillery? Is that what it was called? Distillery.
Yes, it was Distilleries.
Yes.
Distilleries East or something like that.
So we're rolling together because our one friend who was older drove, and before you go to the club, you gotta, hey, I gotta put my little compact. I gotta look better before I get up in there. So we're in the car doing this, and in the midst of it all, oh, hand me my compact, hand me mine, because we're sharing purse. I hand Marissa hers. She puts it on. We get out. We're like, yeah, we're ready to go up in here. We're looking good. We're walking, light shining. I get closer. I'm like, bitch, you look dirty. Why? She looks dirty because she used my compact, not her own. You're about 6 shades sharp. 6 shades sharp. Shit was fun. Like, that's memorable.
That's
Oh my gosh.
always remember that. Always remember that.
That was funny. That was
Hilarious. Hilarious.
Mm.
That was good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so all right, so we talked about you being 50, bringing into the
50's been good. 50's been awesome.
For me, you said writing it, that's going to be trippy. But for the most part, when I go to places or online, it's that age bracket. So I always say, like, oh, we're in the same age bracket. When I had to go to the next level of like 45, and I was like, oh.
Here we go. Here we go with the BS.
Or like when you have to put the year and you're like, scroll, 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 scroll.
And it's
scroll,
scrolling
scroll,
forever.
scroll.
Like, I'm there.
Scroll,
like,
scroll.
19? I'm in the 19s.
1900s.
Oh
1900s.
goodness.
Yeah, we're from another time. So I wanted to bring up at the beginning of the year in January, the first week of January, this host of this podcast I was on is called Should Have Listened to My Mother.
Ooh.
She texted me and she was like, hey, she's like, do you mind if I repost our conversation, about you and your mom? And I was like, no, that's fine. And so she reposted it, and then I realized I didn't share it really with anybody. So, but I re-listened to it, and it was to honor my mom. And I love that she put a picture of me, and then she put a picture of my mom on there, and she asked me all these questions about my mom. And she's in New York. She does old school, so she's on a mic with the whole thing. But the person that she's interviewing, literally, I think I called on the phone. Like, she's at a New York radio station. Like, but she records it as a podcast. So I sound kind of shitty, but I was listening to it and I was like,
a phone. It sounds like
a phone, right?
Which I love. Like, it's an aesthetic. It sounds
it's an aesthetic,
like
right? So I re-listened to it and I was like, wow, I was kind of crying listening to it again. But like, it's like sad, but like good, like kind of just thinking of like how far I've gone, right? And because that was like 2 or 3 years ago that I recorded that. And then so I started sending it out to everybody. And then you were like, I knew you listened to it because in the group text, you're like, murderer.
So funny. So what is she doing? But we don't know. You know what I'm saying? We're just young. That it was so good. Such a good, for me, knowing you personally, good interview. I loved it.
Thank you.
I found out some things I didn't know. Like, it's always a good place to learn. Like, just learn about the people you know and love. You know what I mean?
Right.
That, oh, damn, that's something that never came up. But okay, we're still growing here. We're still growing to the day we die.
Still learning.
Yes.
And I say it in the episode, right? I was like, I don't even think like my friends, and I talk about you, like, we're learning and we've been friends since we were 14. You're 50, I'm 49, about to be 50. And you're still learning. Like, you didn't know all that stuff was happening to me, but we were relatives. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because you just don't talk like that. And I don't even know I wonder if kids nowadays, like if their home life is fucked. I guess it all depends on where you're
a little
at.
more open than we were, just because they have so many avenues to get info, to divulge info, help, support.
Right.
I feel like we
Hopefully
didn't have that.
We didn't have it because internet didn't even exist.
Right. And a lot of people are getting their support from the internet or from these different avenues. So yeah, I definitely think people are talking more than, of course, when we were younger.
Right.
because we're
But
thinking, oh,
but when you're young though, it doesn't matter how much you see it. When you're young, you're still in that mentality,
cloud.
like where you don't even talk about stuff like that, right? Like you just keep it inside. Like maybe you're getting support when you're by yourself online, but you don't really discuss. Like I'm always interested. The supernatural bear, like we homeschool him, but every day he goes to the B and G, the Boys and Girls Club. So I'm always
Mm,
asking about his homies and his friends and like what they
mm.
talked about. And I was like, "Did you?" He's like, "No." He's like, "I didn't ask him that." I was like,
No, I'm only here for a little bit. No,
like,
that's probably
yeah,
what
like
they're
they're,
thinking.
you know what I'm saying? Or even with like his best friend that lives at one of his best friends that lives out here. Like there's certain things they talk about, certain things they don't. It's just like, I don't know. It's interesting. And then later on this year, there's going to be a guest that I just recorded with, and he's younger. And I was like, "How did you know?" And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. You grew up with the internet. So you, even though if you didn't have anyone in your family or immediate
Yes,
family,
connect.
you saw people on the internet that it could inspire you, right?
Yes,
Like we didn't have that. Like it was just like who was around? Like there was
right.
nobody. So let me just do this anyways, blah blah blah. But referring back to the interview, I'll put a link in the show notes. But we're talking about murders because I talk about, and I think I've talked about it on here, but I'm not sure. But it's me being so upset and me I was 7, I was in the 2nd grade planning to murder my it's funny now, but you know what I'm saying? It's funny, but like kind of sad. Like I'm like 7, 8 years old, in this abusive household, thinking like, oh, today's the day. Like, how do I murder this big ass man? And then
Right.
like I like literally, I'm about to be 50. It's crazy because I can literally see the lamp now. I could see the lamp that I was gonna cut, like break, and I was like, I can envision that moment, like shake, shake, like like, and it's
Prison
crazy, but
style.
prison style. I'd never seen anything on prison. Maybe I did, because you know how we used to watch. Remember how I used to watch A Grip of Shit we weren't supposed to
Not
watch
supposed
in
to
the
be
theater and at
watching.
home? I
I
used to
mean,
watch all
hell, we
kinds of
did a
crazy
lot of
stuff.
shit. Yeah, we did a lot of
We
shit we
did,
weren't supposed to be doing. Mm.
but we're still here. But one thing that happened today, Nye, was I think also because of that episode is that I'm walking on the treadmill and the supernatural bear has to put away the dishes. And that's one of his chores. He has to put away the dishes. So he likes to put on headphones and he's like dancing, like, putting dish away. He'll be like dancing. And then and I can see him. He doesn't know I can see him. And then I came over and I started hugging him and I was just like, I'm so happy. Because in the episode, I talk about like, I hope that I made it comfortable
Like,
for him
he's
because I
happy,
was,
right?
because I couldn't chill in the living room. I couldn't chill in the kitchen. I couldn't do any of that stuff. I couldn't lay down on the
Seriously.
couch. Like it was like
Like,
it
that's
wasn't
not
a
home.
home.
That's not comfort. That's
No.
not
No.
your space. That's crazy. Like,
It's not
I
safe.
know.
It didn't feel
Yeah.
safe, right? So for me to see that, I was like hugging him and I started crying, but it was like happy tears. I was like telling he knows like
It's
we
happy
talk
tears because
about
it means
this.
that you're doing a good job. So, without
It's
anyone
happy
having to tell
tears.
you. So, yes.
Yeah, it's happy tears because I've broken the cycle. There's evidence, but I remembered. Do you know what I'm saying? Because of
Yes.
that episode. So it was great, and I was like, let me tell my Relly because this is
Yes.
some good shit. This is
And
some
guess
good
what?
shit.
This right here, I'm glad you shared that with me, because that right there for me, that's that validation for me always telling you, have a kid, like a kid. That's the reason. That's the reason. Not, I mean, amongst other reasons, but like
Right,
that's the core of the reason. Like, I see you being a mom. Like, you can't just be this awesome without spreading it, without sharing it, without, you. We have other friends that don't have kids. Y'all need to have kids too. No, it's too late, little bit.
right.
Y'all 50 now. Y'all 50. Y'all better get a dog. Y'all know what to tell you. But y'all should have had some kids too. But anyway, you can still adopt,
No,
and you can adopt the
that's
older.
real.
But you got to share your love. And even me having 2 children, I've also thought about adoption. But who's to say what's in the future? It's not
Right,
off the table. But
right.
I love that happened for you, because that is exactly what I wanted to happen for you. Like, that is
Mhm.
the epitome of life.
Yeah, like, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And the reason why I was like, I don't want to have a child because I'm gonna fuck them up, like I'm too
No,
traumatized and
you
da da da
won't.
da da. But
You're gonna be
it
better.
happened the way it's supposed to happen. It happened unplanned. It happened. I had to be older. There had to
Organically.
be smartphones available when I was, you know what I'm saying? There had
Yes.
to be internet for me to do the research and do all this stuff. And then it's crazy. Life is crazy. I'm really, really happy that I did it. And now I see when you would tell me when homegirl that should not be named, she would tell me, remember she would like send me like parenting magazine subscriptions and I'll be like, nah, you got 4 kids. Why do I need that shit? You know? And now I'm just like, oh, and I'm the
Mm,
person doing the same thing to my friends that still have never had a child. And I'm like,
I
you
love
would
it.
be a dope ass dad. Like you would
Yes.
be amazing, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. For
But
sure.
it is what it is, and
It'll come.
unless they have an
Just when it
accident of
comes.
some sort, it's not gonna happen. For the
Right.
dudes, they still got time. I mean, look
Lots
at
of
like De
time.
Niro and them. They're like 70, 80 years old having a kid for the first
Yeah.
time.
But us women, yeah. Gotta do
There's
what
a
you
there's
gotta
a
do.
window. There's a window.
Wow. Yeah. I feel like on this show, we've had at least 3 full circle moments.
Yeah. No, more than that,
More.
probably.
I'm just saying at least. But
Right,
it's
right,
it's
right,
been
right.
good. It's been good, and that's what it's all about. Like, I love this 100%. Even though in the beginning when you first told me about, "Oh, I'm gonna do a podcast, I'm gonna do this." I'm like, "Oh, I'm nervous." Like, child, it's like talking on the phone, and I like talking on the phone a little bit. We used to talk on the phone a lot, so it's just
Right.
visual. It's just FaceTime. To me, this is FaceTime, catching up,
Right.
a little bit
Yeah.
added, like, oh, okay, people are gonna see us, but I never think of that. So,
No. No,
because some,
that's why I feel so comfortable, right? And that's why it
yeah,
feels comfortable when I have my other guests too. Because I tell them, I go, it's not an interview, it's a convo. It's just a convo. It's just
conversation.
two people talking. I know them, or I know someone that knows them, or they have impacted my life in a certain way. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan, but I want to know them, just have a convo, person to person, because it doesn't matter if someone I have on has done all these amazing things. It's
Yeah,
just a
yeah,
person,
it
right?
is, and it's good.
Just a
Know each other,
person,
good stuff. Even if you don't know the
right?
person, good stuff, because you're gonna know them and you're learning them. I like it. I like it. And
I like it.
I'm so happy that you invited me to do this, and that I'm doing such an awesome job at it. I'm doing good.
You are,
I'm doing
you are.
good. But thank you.
And
Thank
on
you.
the survey, people love the relatives, and they're
Oh,
they're they're
thank you, guys.
bummed that we have taken a break, but they love the episodes. Like they say that it's like watching the two homies,
And it is. It should be, because we are the homies. We're each other's
we're
homies,
the
and we the homies.
relatives.
You meet us in person, we the homies. For
Same.
real.
The way we are here is the same, right?
Yeah.
It's the same.
Yeah,
It's
for
the same.
sure.
It's the
For
same.
sure. I'm
All right.
excited for you here.
Me too. Me too. Like, let's take Word to Your Mama. Let's take relatives. Oh, but let me just preface this, especially if you're new to relatives. Relatives is the concept of we are relatives. That's what we call each other. But relatives, the reason why I wanted to do specific episodes is because I actually want this to be a TV show, not us, but like our story of, you
Yes.
know, a first gen Mexicana and a young black girl growing up 2x away from the border during the 80s. Hip hop is
Yes.
just, flourishing, and we're trying to navigate the world. And, you think both of us have like mad trauma, but it's really just me. And you don't know that she doesn't know that I'm having it. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, all
Yes.
these different things, and the shit that we're dealing with. That was the thing. I was like, I want to see that story. I think it's unifying, showing how you grew up in a Latino, you went to a Latino all, not all girl school, but
Private
um
school.
private
Catholic,
school,
Catholic school, yeah.
Catholic private school. So you learned the culture. And then because
Those
I
ones.
met you and I met Miss Sherelle and Lynette, and they saw me dance, then I learned, I was
Black
introduced and
culture.
brought in to the black culture. But
Yes.
we never thought we were anything different. We
Just
we
friends.
loved the two cultures, but it helped us to understand, and we've taken that all the way. So I was like, I want to see that show, because the music would be dope as fuck.
Oh my
Right? The
goodness. Yes.
music would be on point.
Yes.
Um
Don't be funny.
and just it would be funny and it would be a great story, right? Like, so anyways, I'm looking for writers, I'm looking for all that stuff, but I was like, let's start, archiving these stories. Let's have like some type of proof. And it's funny because I had certain stories when I was thinking of the concept and writing the whole deck for the show, the concept of the show, but as we've been talking for the past couple of years, then I have new stuff, new memories,
Now,
So that's a great transition into, especially since we got some new listeners. What are some things, some stories that we've really talked about here that I could put in the show notes, episodes that they need to listen to, that are some of your favorites that came out during this process of relatives?
I mean, hands down, because it's a memory for me, like, just when we talk about, and we don't condone violence, but like, the fighting episodes are hilarious because that's just us learning and growing and like learning
Right,
other people, learning personalities, temperaments, all these things. And like,
right,
why are we now? I'm saying this, but
right.
why we scrapping? because you're talking crazy. I mean, nowadays we're not really doing that. You know what I'm saying? Some
No,
people, no,
some of us are
right?
not doing that nowadays. I don't know when the last time I got in a fight, but when was
Yeah,
the
I
last time you
mean,
got in a fight?
you already know. But okay, so Halloween, the Halloween one. So that's one of my favorites because, of course, I was there and it was just crazy. The Halloween episode of, the snake and so that's one. And of course, I, I'm not big on surprises, but I do like surprises.
Right.
So when our girls came through, I love that. Just the fact that you got them together to come on the show. Martha, Joey, yep, love that.
Oh
I
yeah, yeah. It
absolutely
was
love
so that was two girls that went to high school with us that were a year
on
before
your
us, and so we had them on surprise night. She didn't know, so while we're recording, boom, they come on, and then also we got to ask them, were we delusional? Were we just making it up in our head that we were that dope
that we were
and
fresh,
that we were fresh,
fresh, funky fresh.
that we were fresh?
Yeah, we
And
were
it
cool.
was they
Period.
concurred. They agreed that we were that dope, that we
But they-
were funny and stuff like that, and because we went to performing arts school, you
Yep.
know.
And I wish I
So
really did more performing in arts, and you know what I'm saying, a little thespian. I feel like I'm a thespian at heart on some things, but
right,
I don't know. We let a lot of opportunities pass us by. But we didn't
yeah,
know. We just didn't know. We didn't have any support in that area, but we did the best that
right,
we knew. We did the best.
right,
And of course, I
right,
love, love, love all like the comments and people chiming in, leaving me messages and leaving you messages too. Like that's always a plus. That's one of my favorite things when the audience chimes in.
right. So basically, what we do on relatives when we start, if you go back to the beginning, is that we kind of start like how we met and da 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 da, and then we kind of go off track sometimes depending on what just comes up.
Right.
And we learn all these things about each other. And one of my favorite ones is some of the fighting ones. When I get jumped on our way to Menace to Society, that's a classic. I've reposted that. People think that one's hilarious. But one that people really, really like is the one where two of them, the Ouija board one or
Oh,
Ouija
I
board
forgot about that.
story,
Yes, yes.
right? So I'll post that one where you and I and my cousins and some other people, we do the Ouija board. We have the crazy experience and we talk about why we will never buy one. Well, we will never touch one,
Touch one. No.
especially a used one. We don't know
Ugh.
why they're sold as games in the regular store that
I
I don't
saw
know.
one.
Can you still
I
go
saw
to
one
Target?
recently in a thrift store.
No,
Hell no.
that's a
That's extra
no.
hell no.
That's
No.
extra no. I'm not
Yeah.
touching it. I'm not nothing.
And
And then the other one that's a favorite is The Legend of Don Antonio.
the marbles. Yes, yes. And that's so funny because so my brother is getting married and
Who?
I Donnie.
Oh,
And I think that I read Rosarito. ago, maybe, but maybe we have to go there. So I thought of that story when I saw that. I was like, oh, and just so many other things that happens with Rosarito going back in the day. So that's cool. Yeah,
Right.
I kind of forgot
Yeah.
about that a little bit, but now, yeah.
Yeah. So that story is where I talk about Don Antonio, which I found out after that his name is not Don Antonio, but I wasn't sure if I made up if he was a ghost,
Or a
this
dream,
man, or a dream,
right?
that when I was about 4 or 5 years old, we'd go all the time. So I live at the border, so we'd go to Tijuana all the time to my these shacks, and I didn't know if the man that I used to play with that lived under the houses in the
Under.
dirt that
That's
would
crazy.
give me marbles, canicas. I wasn't
And
sure if he was real or if it was a figment of my imagination. And when when I've told this to anyone, they're always looking at me like, "Did something happen to you? Like what? Like
trauma, trauma.
are you imagining things? Or if he was real, why are you playing with the old man under the
A
house?
man, yes, yes,
A man, like an old man." And he gave me canicas. So I'll put a link to that so you can hear if he was real or not.
nice, right.
Right.
I like that. So y'all better listen up because it's hilarious.
Right. Um, and you know what I really, really like just overall, just listening to the stories and finding out stuff about each other. And I always reference how I didn't know how hard it was. Like I'm just trying to live, I'm just trying to survive. My mom was sick, my home life was shitty, it was awful, and nobody knew, I guess. And and then so I'm just thinking about me. I'm just trying to do me, right? Not go to school, whatever. And then Nyysha's having, an
Fun.
American high school time. Like she
And
loves
it
it. She's
was.
like, she's all about it. But at the same time, you're dating someone that him and I don't get along. Oh, because we got in a fight. That's another episode.
Ooh, man.
That's another episode at a football game. And because he stole on me. But the fact that I didn't know until we had that conversation mad years later is that it was stressful for you because your rally and your man don't get along, but you're trying to like divide the time and all that stuff like that.
For sure. And then even in that, it's like we're growing. We're learning life. Like, oh, I'm learning how to have a relationship. I'm learning how to have a best friend. I'm learning how to just be a woman, young woman. I'm
Right.
learning how to do a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was crazy. Crazy, crazy.
Right.
Not stressful, but just like, whoo, like, okay. And I feel like I did pretty good with what I had. And
Yeah.
still got Morelli, so hey, I did good,
Right.
you know.
Who wins,
So, yeah.
sucker?
And
And
the saying is true, you know. You know how guys say bros before hoes. I don't know what girls say. Girls say I don't know. I think of something real quick, but I couldn't. So yeah, like best friends, and you're gonna always have your friend over a guy, a girl, whoever you want to date. So y'all young listeners, make sure you have that solid foundation of friendship with your friend, because I feel like I think people get this twisted. You can still be friends, us, but friends have to also understand that a person has to grow. Y'all gonna still maintain what you have, because
that
I feel like I see this a lot, especially with young Black women, and that's all I can speak for. Growing up, young Black woman, and just women, let's just say women, we're not even gonna put race attached to it, but women have a hard time making friends, keeping friends, true friends.
right.
I'm not talking like, oh, we going to party, then I don't like you next week, because that's what girls do.
Right.
Or they heard something, oh, you're trying to steal my guy, or just all this extra shit that doesn't need. You need to be solid. And I try to instill that in my daughter, and I even try to still tell other young ladies like, hey, what you being jealous for? You have to be solid with whomever you're friends with. If that's the person you want to be friends with, focus. That's the focus, because
Right.
there's also even another aspect of it, not just the dating, just your friend having another best friend.
Right. Right.
A lot of people care about that, and it's still ongoing. I hear that a lot these days, where it's like, oh, that no, why we all can't be friends? We can all be friends.
Right. Right.
And that a person can have their separate relationship with their other friend, and I don't have to know about what y'all talk about. I don't have to know about where y'all do go be jealous, and because that is
Right.
our situation. And it's crazy because I have never been like, oh, she has another best friend. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's just our culture. Maybe we've had different experiences. I don't know why. For me, I was never, not that I wanted to be, but never jealous, or you
Right.
even never being jealous. I can't speak for you. I don't know. But, like I had
No.
Cheryl, I had her
No.
sister, I had
No.
other friends that I would actually maybe blurt out, that's my best friend,
Right.
but
No. It
for
it
me, it
didn't
was
it
something
didn't
else.
bother me. It didn't bother me, but I think what sucks is that it's still happening now, but the patriarchy is one fucking hell of a drug. And
Mm,
so, you're jealous, and we're not secure, we're not um raised to be secure and to take up space. I feel like it's changing now, and I love having these conversations with us. I love having conversations with women of all ages. I love that, I get to, if you listen to the episode with Miracle, she's one of my mentees, and the conversation I learned from her and she learns
right.
from me. We learn from each other, right? As she's a young Black woman, and I'm a this age bracket Latina, and I think it's about supporting ourselves and loving ourselves so that all that shit doesn't matter. Like,
Right.
I'm so secure with you, Nye. Like, you went to another country for 10 years. Like, I didn't
Right.
expect you to not to have any other friends. Like, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? You knew Sherlyn then before I came along. I was new. How did Sherlyn then feel? Like, oh, she's hanging out with this
Sure.
chick a lot now too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and you can have, like you said, the different relationships. And I felt secure, um, you know, with you or with Marib. Like, yeah, we're all gonna have different friends, different walks of life, and we're all kind of different too. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I need to have all these different types of friends because I like to do all this different type of shit. But I think it really comes down to, we have to be confident in ourselves so that we don't get jealous, right? It's like,
Hmm.
why do I want what they want? Like, why are we fighting over a dude? Fuck that dude. Like, I think that's where
Yes.
hopefully a lot of people are coming to. And it's because it's an insecurity, right? It's because, like, you don't get support, so you don't get attention. So now this dude that probably whack as fuck is giving you attention, and now you want to give all that attention. I will say that I was guilty of when I found someone that was finally, I felt like finally at my level. I was the friend that would drop everything and fuck up plans because I just wanted to be with that dude
A
who's now my
dude,
husband.
not even a friend,
Yeah.
not a girl.
Yeah. No, just a dude. But, like, you know how, like, I hate when people do that, but I know that I used to do that. And now I could see that now. Like, oh, in the beginning I'd
That's
just
the
be like,
process. That's the learning
that's a
from it.
process. That's a learning process. I was like learning, how to be, how, oh, I could do all the things, I don't gotta be like one thing. It's like, you don't want to compartmentalize
Yeah.
and, and stuff like that. But it's a learning thing. You learn by experience and being out in the world. I mean,
Learning and
what else can
growing,
you do?
learning and growing for sure. For
Right.
sure. So yeah.
So, yeah. So, next episode, our next relatives, we're going to continue. I know we keep saying this shit, but we're for reals. We're going to
You're really
continue.
gonna do it.
We're going to continue from when we left out. If you want to listen to the other ones to catch up, we are going to be continuing from the final year of high school,
Okay.
right? And
Yeah.
and then we'll go to graduation, and then we'll go to how we split and how, like, da 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 da, and then hopefully she'll say yes. We gotta have the New York episode when all three of us go to New York City for the first time.
Hopefully she'll say yes. Say yes to the podcast.
Because that's an adventure. That's an
Yeah.
adventure. We're talking about almost being kidnapped. We're talking about all kinds of things. Like, so
Woo.
that's
You're
why
doing
this
too
show
much.
would be so good. The relative show would be so good because everyone says, yo, it's movie type moments with you two.
And
All
I
of
got to get
us.
my brain on right. Like let me put my brain on because I have to remember some of these things. But when I
Start
look back at
making
the episodes,
notes.
I'm like, ooh, okay, I remember, and
Right.
it's coming back.
Start
It's
making
coming.
notes, Relly. Start making
Yes,
let's all of us start making notes so we can remember, and
most
little tidbits and
definitely.
stuff, and And then also, because we're doing it on video and I have this new thing, then I can put like photos up and shit while we're talking.
Okay. I like that. For sure.
All right. So
Um,
anything else, Riley? Anything else for the peeps?
hey, I'm just here. I'm ready for this year. I got a few ideas. I'm ready for guests. That's what I want. I want guests, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it big this year, y'all. I mean, we've been doing it big, but we
Yeah.
elevating, going to the next level for this year, for
Right.
sure.
Also, I want to do a live one. I want to do a
Oh,
live one. I want to announce it and then give people time, and then I want to do a live so it's live on a multiple things, and we can have people can comment, and
oh yeah, for sure. I like that.
you know what I'm saying. And we could do it live. Yeah. All right then, Relly.
We got a lot to say, so let's get it. Let's start talking about it.
Let's do it.
All right.
Love you.
Bye, y'all. Love y'all.